And good evening again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Press Play, powered by 0 to 60 Energy Drink, where I am your captain and your host, Sid Frazier. And we look forward to spending this evening with you. We got a lot on the agenda tonight. We're not going to waste much time getting to it. College Athletes Bill of Rights. NCAA college football playoffs is upon us. And NFL Week 15 predictions. We got it all. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
I'm Jamison Williams. I attend Cardinal College Preparatory High School in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a wide receiver committed to the University of Ohio State. I see a lot of great things in Dr. Hayes. She get me loose when I'm running my routes. I feel agile. Also on the track, it's the same thing, so I'm really loose running my races.
I'm Dr. Connie Hayes with Fit for Life Sports and Rehab. If you want a competitive edge on the field, call me, 314-532-0957.
And welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Press Play, where I'm your host, Sid Frazier, and we ready to get right into it. I'm going to introduce my co-host this evening. Here on the end, we got Tyler Coleman. T. Cole.
Come on, dog. Let's get to it, baby.
You already know what it is. Next up, we got Mr. Zelman Sanders. Big Z, what we call him here on the set.
Let's roll.
What it do? All right, Z. Then next to Z, we got Mr. Will Franklin. Will, how's it going tonight?
Hey, man, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I tell you what, guys, we got some topics tonight. I think this is going to ruffle some feathers, and we're going to get some things shaking around here tonight, all right?
Let's get to it.
First up, we got the College Athlete Bill of Rights is what they call it exactly. Mm-hmm. And we know that this is on the brink of being a groundbreaking move that some people are trying to put together. Mm-hmm. And Z, I'm going to come to you first. Exactly what is the College Athletes Bill of Rights? Can you tell me a little bit about that? Exactly what is that?
Yeah, you have two senators, Cory Booker out of New Jersey and Senator Richard Blumenthal out of Connecticut. Mm-hmm. They're trying to level the playing field, and knowing that they've been hearing rumblings of athletes not really being able to take care of themselves. You have guys who are stars on the team in the Big Ten or the SEC championship, but they hungry. So they need something to groundbreak so to allow these athletes to be able to provide, just not be rich or anything, but be able to just take care of themselves, just as student athletes and ones who bring money to those universities.
And you know what, it's good that you said that, because I remember a few years ago, well, several years ago now, when Shabazz Napier, when he made that statement after the University of Connecticut won the national championship. And he did that right in the middle. I remember when the confetti was still falling, and they thought that he was going to congratulate everybody, and he made this statement about how the college athletes nowadays, as much attention as they get and as good as everybody think they have it, he was like, man, it's some of the guys that's still going to bed hungry. Right. And those type of things should not be tolerated on any type of level with the revenue that college football is generating.
Right, and basketball.
And basketball. Right. So I was reading about this a little bit, and it was talking about some of the revenue sharing and things like that. Tico, I'm going to throw it to you next. How does this benefit the college athlete? Not the schools, but how does this benefit the college athlete?
See, what's weird is I've always been on the side of I'm pro-athlete. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A lot of guys, I hear too much being thrown around, well, they got a scholarship, right? Mm-hmm. But they pay for their scholarship in triple, quadruple, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Multiple times. I think what the revenue sharing is, I think it evens out the playing field. I do think it helps the young men understand that what they're doing and the time that they're putting in is actually being rewarded. For so long, I don't feel like that always was the case. I mean, especially in football, you got to stay 3 years. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You can get banged up, nicked up. You don't have any type of leverage after that. You gave all your energy to this university, and what'd you get in return?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Before we get into that, it was a couple things I wanted to point it out. One of the things that was actually sort of impressive, it says that the rules and the requirements laid out on this bill will be enforced by a newly formed commission of college athletics, which will be run by 9 board members who are appointed by the United States president. And I like that part because it's taking the power out of the hands of the NCAA, who's been running things for so long.
Which is a separate entity.
Which should be a totally, which is and should be treated as a total separate entity. But down in the medical care part, Will, it says that athletes will be eligible for funding during their college career and for 5 years after their college careers. How big is that? How impactful is that?
That is very huge, especially in the football world where you're dealing with injuries that, you know, we in the last 10 years we have talked about CTE. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That stuff is real. You know what I mean? When you're talking about college athlete and we're talking about the climate of mental health right now, it's important to be able to have resources to be able to go to a doctor, whether you go back to your hometown, you stay in your college town, just to get that help. You know what I mean? It's so many guys out here that are going into deep depression when their college career is over. And now that you add social media to the platform that these young athletes have, and they go from getting 100,000 likes to the moment they stop playing for whatever university they're playing for, they got 100 likes, and that stuff plays a part in their identity. So having this and being able to help a kid for the next 5 years after he's removed from the university,
to transition.
To transition.
And we all remember the stories of the Steve McNairs, the Junior Seau's, and those kind of horror stories of guys after their long done playing careers is over. What do they have to turn to, or who do they have to turn to besides,
when everybody looked toward to them.
Exactly. So, and it's interesting because it says that one of the standards that they would address would be concussion protocols, sexual assault. We hear that going on a lot now in universities. We never really heard about that kind of stuff before, but sexual assault. Then it says long-term injuries and more. And I believe the long-term injuries is what you was really, going about, because that's the important part. A lot of people don't realize, T. Colin, you can speak on this. A lot of people don't realize once these kids leave these universities, if you don't make it to the next level, you basically on your own.
Facts.
So what would this do for them? I mean, just to have that sense of security, just knowing that, okay, I'm covered for at least 5 years.
I'm going to jump back on what Will said. Mental health is real. Even outside of just the CT, mental health, depression, that's something that's real. So to be able to actually get that properly taken care of, and you might not have the funds, and actually make the school that that you brought all that money to pay for that, I think that's huge. My only question is, with all of this, what coaches are going to actually support this? What college coaches are actually going to support the players actually having more power now? And I'm just curious about that.
You know what?
I got something to say there too. With this being an entity outside of the NCAA, how are they going to tax this?
Well, I tell you what, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to pick back up on this segment, guys, before we go into this next segment, all right? Because I know we got a few more things we want to talk about. This is a huge thing. This is a big thing. We haven't talked about the revenue sharing part yet. And I think that this is, like I said in the opening, this is groundbreaking. And we need to see this done. And we need to see this done right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you all stay with us. We'll be right back after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Press Play.
I'm Jamison Williams. I attend Congressional College Preparatory High School in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a wide receiver committed to the University of Ohio State. I see a lot of great things in Dr. Hayes. She get me loose. When I'm running my routes, I feel agile. Also on the track, it's the same thing, so I'm really loose running my races.
I'm Dr. Connie Hayes with Fit for Life Sports and Rehab. If you want a competitive edge on the field, call me, 314-532-0957.
And welcome back to Press Play, powered by 0 to 60 Energy Drink. We left off on the last segment talking about the college athlete Bill of Rights, and we kind of hint on the revenue sharing. There's going to be some revenue sharing in this bill once this thing is passed. Big Z, tell us about the revenue sharing point, the part about the universities, how they benefit from that, but also more importantly, the student athlete. How do they benefit from that?
I mean, based on what the senator's trying to bring, you're talking about after all the scholarships and everything is collected. So it's like with anything, you find out what something costs the principal. Once you subtract that, now whatever's left, all the equity in it, they split it 50-50 evenly with all the 130 programs in the FBS schools. So that helps the athlete. You take a Zion when he busts his shoe. Nike stock dropped instantly. So just imagine the revenue that he brought to the school and what he could have brought. He could have had his own shoe. Was no athlete even bigger than Zion within that year? Not even LeBron.
Right.
And he didn't get anything. This allows these kids to have a reason, and if you look at it, it can actually help them to stay longer.
Wow.
So it can work both ways.
And it's good that you mentioned that, because not only on the FBS level, but the same thing would apply to the FCS level.
Exactly.
And that's huge.
That's huge.
We know that we got the NCAA college football playoffs. The championship week is up on us.
Yes.
So this subject here kind of ties into that.
Yeah.
We're in the championship week, guys. And we got some big games coming up this weekend that I'm really excited about. I mean, we got the Pac-12 championship with Oregon and USC.
Yeah.
We got the Big Ten championship, and we know we've been debating about whether Ohio State should or shouldn't. The Big 12 championship, ACC, and also the SEC championship. And I want to hear some predictions. We talked about 1 through 4 the other day, but just let's go game by game. We'll start at the top. We'll start with the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is going down. Let's hear some predictions on that. I like that USC team. I don't think the Pac-12 got enough opportunities this year. We know they won't have a representative in the college football playoffs. But that USC team is still a really good team, playing against an Oregon team who I think had higher expectations, but it is what it is at this point.
Hey, they in the dance.
Yeah, see,
In the dance.
USC, they gonna do good, but I don't see them, like you said, they're not gonna be in the playoffs. So I still think they're gonna smash Oregon. They just trying to set precedent for the following year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tico, who you got?
I got USC. I'm gonna say shout out to Clay Helton. He did what he had to do. He's secured another year. And also shout out
another year.
And also shout out to my man Marquise Step, man, running back for USC. You know what I'm saying? Pick your poison. That's an inside.
I'm going wild card, man. I'm gonna go with the Ducks, man.
Going Ducks.
I'm going Ducks, man.
yeah.
You know, I got some Duck people out there, man. One of my good teammates, Sammy Parker. Shout out to Sammy. He a Duck, and I'm gonna roll with the Ducks this weekend, man.
Okay, so we got 3 for USC and 1 for the Ducks.
Yeah.
We'll get back together. We'll see about it.
Yeah.
So this is one of the most controversial ones right here in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's controversial for several reasons. We know that the record of Ohio State, with only playing 5 games up until this point, they'll be going against Northwestern. It's a pretty good Northwestern team, but at the same time, we know that they're not on the caliber.
Right.
They're not the caliber of team of Ohio State.
Yeah.
How do you see this one shaking out? Does Northwestern, put it to you like this, does Northwestern pose any threat, Z, to even make this a game or to make this
I don't think they pose a
upset
threat.
eligible?
I don't think they pose a threat. However, I think Ohio State has to put on a show.
Yes.
So
I
even
agree
if they
with
don't
that.
pose a threat, Ohio State has to know that nobody is on our level in the Big Ten, so we need better competition. But if they make it close, they getting kicked out.
Yep.
Exactly.
I agree.
So, Will, let me ask you this. With what he just said about Ohio State needing to put on a show, with that Clemson and Notre Dame game, that's going to determine really the fate of Ohio State.
Yes.
It could determine the fate of Ohio State.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame was to beat Clemson, we know that Clemson chances diminished
Yep.
tremendously.
Yeah, they'll be out.
But if Clemson turns around and beat Notre Dame, it's going to put some pressure on that committee because Notre Dame is sitting at 2.
Yeah.
It's going to put some pressure on that committee.
And it's still only 2 1-loss team.
And it's still only 2 1-loss teams. So who do you like in that game, in that matchup, that Clemson-Notre Dame matchup?
They're back at full strength. So I'm going with Clemson. You know what I mean?
Full strength on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that first game was one of the best games I've seen this year in the college football. But, you know, they was out their guy. And being without the leader of that team, you know, it makes a world of a difference. And, you know, they want their get back.
And you know, it's funny that you say that because actually they played a true freshman in that game.
Yep.
5-star recruit,
Yep.
but still a true freshman who did not disappoint.
No.
It was not his fault, the reason that they lost that game.
The future looks good.
The future looks good for Clemson. So, T. Cole, I'm going to throw it to you with the SEC. We got Alabama and Florida. This game could also be a pivotal game. This could be a pivotal game for that Ohio State team.
Yeah.
Because if Florida was to some kind of way upset Alabama, man, that throws a wrench into a lot of plans.
But they got 2 losses.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Old St. Nick ain't going, baby.
No.
He just ain't going. I can't. I'm sorry. It's like it's Florida's, you know, but Old St. Nick, he taking this thing on home.
Thank you.
And Z, what you saying that they'll have 2 losses? it wouldn't be a shot for Florida, even if they beat Alabama. But what it would do, it would shake it up enough to where you got Texas A&M that's lurking behind them.
Right.
So
right.
what kind of pressure would that put on the committee
Right.
at that point? Hypothetically saying Florida beats Alabama,
Right.
Clemson beats Notre Dame.
Right.
What does that do in the committee mindset in that room now that you have Ohio State, who's only playing Northwestern? Their best win this year is Indiana.
But what's hurting Texas A&M, they not playing this week.
They got Tennessee this week. They got Tennessee this week. It's not a championship game. You're right.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
by
it's
that,
not
I'm
a
sorry.
championship
But
game.
what I'm saying is that's Tennessee. So if all these teams are playing ranked teams, and if Florida beats Alabama, it wouldn't even matter because Alabama still is going to be there.
Absolutely.
And even if Clemson beat Notre Dame, how do you push them out and all 2 one-loss teams? But if Texas A&M, that's the shaky part.
Yeah.
That's the shaky part because they playing Tennessee, and I don't see how they move up.
Don't forget though, if Ohio State doesn't look impressive to Northwestern,
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
and Texas A&M come out and smash Tennessee, I'm talking about exactly what they're supposed to do.
Right.
It puts a lot of pressure in that room at that point.
some pressure.
But that's why we were saying, I'm like, they gotta. I know they're gonna win if you ask me, but they gotta blow them out how they did the last time they squeaked up in there.
Yeah. Ohio State, exactly what he said. They have to come out there and show like we are a top 5 team, a top 4 team.
Right.
Like if they don't come out there playing that kind of ball,
It's going to be lights out for them.
it's over.
The Big 12 championship is Oklahoma and Ohio State. Oklahoma, for their expectations and their standards, have had a down year.
Yep.
But what does this do for that program going forward? For them to win a game like this versus a really good Iowa State team. Iowa State is ranked number 6 right now. That's a really good team. What does that do, Z, for that Oklahoma program going into the future?
Honestly, Oklahoma is a powerhouse. I don't know how to change. I think it's more for Iowa State to win than it is for Oklahoma. It's still Oklahoma. You're talking about Lincoln Riley and what he does. They didn't even expect them to be 10. They expected them to be higher. So it's really Ohio State who is the shocker. So if they win, you think like you expect them to win.
Hey, Ronnie Perkins is coming. Hey, I just say, as long as we get that understood, he's here. He's back. I'm just saying, it's getting scary, baby.
He's hungry for one,
Yes,
too.
sir.
So, Ty, what would it do for that Iowa State team? I mean, we talk about signature wins all the time.
Yeah.
Would this classify as a signature win? Even with Oklahoma having 2 losses, would this qualify as a signature win?
Yes, Matt Campbell is absolutely legit. Winning this game in the Big 12 championship would be huge. But like I said, Ronnie Perkins wasn't there the first time.
yeah.
He's there now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I don't know if y'all remember that Oklahoma State, but it's certain games when that motor clicked,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's game over. But Matt Campbell, this would be big if he can get this game.
Yeah.
It'll be big for their program.
For sure.
Definitely.
For recruiting and everything else.
Yeah.
So, guys, if we had to narrow it down right now, does the top 4 change? Will, I'm going to start with you. Does the top 4 change after this weekend?
Yes.
What do you see happening in that top 4?
I actually see, Texas A&M getting up in there, man.
Some kind of way.
I just think they're going to get up in
Some
there.
kind of way. All right, guys, I'll tell you what, we got to wrap up this segment. We got a lot more to look forward to. With you all, too. We ask that you stay tuned with us. We'll be right back in 1 minute with more of Press Play.
Hello, I'm Simeon the Mortgage Man with Bank Midwest Mortgage. I have over 20 years of experience as a mortgage banker, and our state-of-the-art secure online mortgage center allows you to conveniently submit your application and documents online. Call me now at 314-485-9838 or apply online at simeonthemortgageman.com. Allow our family to help your family reach your goal of home ownership. Simeon the Mortgage Man with Bank Midwest Mortgage.
Just One Taste is moving on up. Located now in the heart of Florissant, 18 Patterson Plaza, serving the best chicken, fish, shrimp, tripe, and soul food sides. We also have catering and food truck services. And after one taste, you will be a customer for life.
Welcome back to Press Play, and we're going to jump right into this final segment, gentlemen. We know that this is week 15 in the NFL. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty, man. We got teams jockeying for position. for them 1 seeds in both the AFC and the NFC. So it's starting to get a little sticky. Yeah. And we got some big games this week we wanted to talk about. So, T. Cole, I'm going to throw it to you first, man. We're going to start right at the top with that Kansas City Chiefs and that New Orleans Saints game. It has been released that Drew Brees will be a participating member in this game. First of all, do you think that it's too soon? Or are they rushing him back just because they're playing Kansas City?
I think I would probably hold Drew Brees out a little bit longer. But I understand that this is a big game. They want to, for different seeding purposes. But when I look at it, man, I can't believe I'm saying this because Will's right here. But the Kansas City Chiefs should look like they should be. They're going to look like the par, and they're going to have a good game. And I got the Kansas City Chiefs, man.
Man, I told my son the other night, I walked over to the light switch, and I just started flicking the light switch. We were arguing about the Kansas City Chiefs, and I started flicking the light switch. And he said, well, what does that mean? I say, this is what they do all game long. Yeah. If you look at how they play, they come out and they assert their dominance. Yep. And then it's almost like as if they get bored.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's when the light switch goes off. Yeah. But then it's almost like when they get bored and they see, the game is getting a little closer. I don't know if they go collectively to the huddle wheel or what they do and say, all right, guys, it's time to flip the light switch back on. What's going on with that team? I mean, people want to say so bad that they're vulnerable. Yeah. Do you see that?
It reminds me of, if you ever got a little brother, you be like, all right, y'all wrestling, and you be like, all right, you let him win a couple rounds. You be like, all right, you done roughed me up a little too much. It's time for me to. Yeah, that's their team. You try, but man, that team is so well coached offensively. And you see it week in, week out, where again they'll come out and they'll be like, oh, here they go. Right. Then they look, you like, dang, he threw three turnovers and. You get kind of worried. But then you turn around, he done throw 6 touchdowns. Like, all right, man. It's like, why you playing my emotions like this?
So if they win with throwing 3 picks, that's what's scary.
See, I was going to ask you about this same game. Kansas City is a blitzing defense. We know Steve Spagnuolo liked to get after the quarterback. So, again, is this the week to bring Drew Brees back with, 11 broken ribs? And
puncture lung.
Is this the week for that?
See, I mean, I think they're trying to stay right there with the Packers. If they had Michael Thomas, I would go with the Saints. Yeah. Because even if you blitz Drew Brees, you're talking about a quarterback who's seen it all.
Of course.
So I would love for them to blitz them when you got Emmanuel Sanders coming in there too, and now you got Michael Thomas. So if you blitz and leave you leave them one-on-one with Michael Thomas and Emmanuel in that slot, I think they would have a chance, but without Michael Thomas, I don't see them winning.
Yeah, that's hard.
So moving on to the next game on the list, we got New England against Miami. We know that New England, I don't know if mathematically they've been eliminated yet, but we know that it's just, it's evident that this is going to happen. That young Miami team, are they ready to take the throne from New England? We know they still got Buffalo to go through, but just as far as that matchup between those two, Will, do you think that Miami is ready to step up and become that team that New England has to look out for now versus the other way around?
I believe they can, but it's really hard to go against Belichick. It's that man can really coach, and he can get his guys, even the support roster he has, he get them guys to play. But Miami's looking really good, man. They looking really good. So it's a toss-up for me because it's hard going against that man.
Who you going with, Will? No. Who you going with, Will?
Who you got?
I'm going New England.
It's crazy that he said that. I was hoping he said the other side. I got to go with New England too, especially with them getting punched in the mouth last week. Yeah. I just know that they not coming back out again, sitting back and letting that happen.
Talk to me, Z. Talk to me.
Brian Flores, he got to be one of the ones that actually know how to run his defense and not just be a disciple of Bill Belichick. He's the first coach actually who, whether it was Josh McDaniels, whether it was Romeo Crennel. He know Belichick, and he know Josh McDaniel. This time now, they winning.
You think Tua ready for that?
I think he's ready for that. Tua is just a cog in what he's doing.
But Tua the one that got to go out there and take them hits and
make
them
plays.
Miami
defense. But the way you see how the Rams put a number on them, and you see how they put a number on them.
The Rams for them. Disguises defenses and things, the way they move around. For a young quarterback to be able to go in there and actually stand in that pocket and see them move around like that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
But
this
he
would be a good
knows them.
test for him.
Brian Flores knows
Yeah,
them.
but
the
that's
quarterback
still
don't
versus
know
what's
them.
going on.
I understand, but that's still the coach giving him the insight, and they don't have the same talent that they used to have on how Bill Belichick used to do it.
Everybody knew Mike was going to the basket.
I understand when y'all
Did they
see me.
stop him?
I accept my apology.
Everybody know when LeBron's going to
So
his
now
left.
you
He's shooting
comparing
fadeaway to the left on
these
the
6 or
shoulder.
7 Patriots to Jordan. I
I'm
want my
comparing Bill
apologies next week,
Belichick.
y'all.
All right,
I want my apologies next week.
All right, guys, we know that Bill Belichick is who he is.
He is who he
It's gonna
is.
make it tough.
Yeah.
But I would have to pick Miami in that game too. T. Cole, I'm gonna throw the next one to you.
Yeah.
Seattle against the Washington football team. The Washington football team is probably one of the hottest teams in the league right now. What do you see happening in that matchup?
I see them being cooled off.
You see them being cooled off.
And I also see DK Metcalf,
Okay.
Tyler Lockett,
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson having some fun on Sunday. That's what I see.
Now, one thing I will note, Big Z, before I throw it to you, Alex Smith is out.
Right.
They're going back with Dwayne Haskins.
All right.
It has not been good so far for Dwayne Haskins. What do you see in this game? Right, with a Buckeye quarterback.
But when you get to talking to me when it comes to that,
quarterback
for
can do.
one, I'm going to be biased, but one thing I like about they front four.
Oh, that defense is
So,
yeah.
and one thing we know, Russell Wilson love holding the ball because they love going deep. So even with that front four who can get pressure, any quarterback, if you can get pressure on them, I don't think they're going to win. Washington's going to win, but I think it's going to be a game because that front four is going to do something.
Okay.
I'm liking that front four, too.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the next week, guys. We got still aware of our time. Green Bay against Carolina. Green Bay got something to play for, Will. Green Bay has something to play for. That 1 seed is still up in the air.
Hey, Aaron is not a person I like going against, and I won't. You know, man, he that's a real gamer there, man. And the way they're playing, the way he's connecting with his receiver, his number one guy, I'm taking Green Bay.
Devontae Adams.
So that's your answer.
That's fine.
Tico.
Hey, one thing is I'm not afraid to say I don't disagree. Okay, I don't disagree. I got Aaron Rodgers too.
Okay, we got 2 more on the list, guys. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds each. Tell me Buffalo or Denver. Tico, Buffalo or Denver?
Buffalo.
That's an easy choice.
Yeah,
Buffalo
yeah,
red
Buffalo,
hot, man.
yeah.
Their defense is legit.
Yeah.
Then we're going to wrap it up with the game Arizona and Philly. Now, with this game, we know that Arizona was on the brink. They've taken some lumps in the last few weeks. But what does this do for their psyche going forward, and who you like in it? 10 seconds, Will.
I like Arizona. I think they're going to get back into the winning category, and, Philly's a team that's in the way.
Yeah, I'm going with Arizona, and I think they're going to kind of bring Jalen Hurts back down.
Yeah.
Tico.
I'm going with Arizona. I think Kyler Murray gets back on track. DeAndre Hopkins has a big day.
For sure.
You know what? I'm going to go with Arizona in this game, but it would not surprise me if Philly win this game.
sure.
It's in Philly. You got Jalen Hurts, who's now playing with a little bit of confidence. We got a Philly team who feel like they're not dead yet.
Right.
And that NFC East is still very much so wide open. I'm going to pick Arizona, but it would not surprise me at all if Philly was to steal this game. Yeah. We're going to get ready to wrap it up, guys. I appreciate you all being with us tonight. It's been an amazing journey so far. Having fun and looking forward to the next one. You at home, we appreciate you being with us tonight for another episode of Press Play. And we ask that you come back and be with us again tomorrow night. If you missed something that we said, or you just can't believe that we said it, go back, run it back, and press play. We'll see you tomorrow night.